guys, it is Tristan with Nerdette's Newsstand, and we're going to talk today about Superman, Son of Kal-El. This is by Tom Taylor, and it is a look at the Jonathan Kent version of Superman. Now, I was surprised at how sweet this was. I guess I shouldn't say surprised. It was great. It was really good. There are a few things I want to talk about. It does get a little political. I'm wondering if this is just a bad photo here or what's going on with his crest. Because it's supposed to be, his Superman S, and it looks, well, not like an S. But even so, we're going to take a look at this. Now, there is a lot of kind of, pushback on Jonathan Kent being Superman. And I don't really necessarily see the reason why. I really like this so far, but I do have a fear, and we'll get to that towards the Robin talk here in a minute. But just so you guys know, there is this awesome Humble Bumble, if you guys are interested. I tried Humble Bundle that is super cheap, and if you like Judge Dredd or 20 AD, there is so much. Like for $1, you get 4 books. How can you go wrong? So I wanted to let you guys know. But let's take a look at Jonathan Kent Superman. Now this is starting, it says then, right? We got a little blast from the past. So the galaxy was under attack, and he tries to save the world. This is Clark Kent Superman, and we have Jon Stewart saying, "Go home. It's a planetary invasion." And we have him saying, it's an attempted planetary invasion, right? And we go back to the fortress, and right outside, we have Batman standing guard. I love it. I love it. I love this. So he says, it's a planetary invasion. No, it's an attempted planetary invasion, and Batman will keep you safe. Oh, I love it so much. He has more important things to do, right? So this is so cute, right? Like, this is so Superman and Batman, and it makes you feel good, and you love it, and I love it. I love it so much. So we go back, and we see Diana is inside with Lois, and this is the birth of Jonathan Kent. I love how even in here she calls him Smallville, right? And he goes through, and he says, to Diana, aren't you worried about the alien invasion? It's an attempted alien invasion. So it seems like maybe Superman is a little nervous about having a child, and he's trying to think of excuses, which is kind of crap, but I'm just saying. So we are seeing the birth. They are both worried. This is a Kryptonian, half Kryptonian, half human child. They're worried about what is going to happen with the birth. And of course, we know the story. Everything goes perfectly as planned. Look at that. Just look at the screen, please. Right now, look at the screen. I love it so much. Look at the baby. All right. And we see, what kind of the idea that he could be more than his father. Jonathan could possibly be more. Not only that, but he's got Kryptonian blood, and he's got Lois Lane's drive. He's got everything needed. And she says, regardless of his powers, he will have the compassion of Superman and the fierce commitment of Lois Lane. And I think that's going to be really cool to explore the idea that, and I know we've seen Jonathan around for a long time. I love Super Sons. Some of the best out there is Super Sons. Tomasi knows these characters inside and out, but they don't really get to explore that because they're just kids, right? So I'm curious to see how they're going to explore that. So we're going to go to this time period. And I'm not torn, but I think some people maybe, right? So we're in California, where if you didn't know they have wildfires all the time, I would be asking if you're living under a rock. So we see the wildfires that are blazing everywhere, and the firefighters doing their best, as they always do, to try to stop them. And we see young Superman come in. And this does look a little bit better there, as far as this crest goes. But there's this weird, right here, this weird line. And I like the design, don't get me wrong. The art is beautiful in this. But I just feel like there could have been a better way, because when you're front on this crest, it looks great. But when you move it side to side, yeah, it looks a little off to me. So we see Jonathan rush in, right? And he's trying to do everything he can. He's saving men, women, and child, telling them it's going to be okay. He's as powerful as hope. Oh, I love it so much. This is so good. And I read Superman Red and Blue last week, number 5. And it had those stories that just make you feel good. And I think this is very comparable if you enjoyed that. But he talks about the firefighters and what they're doing. He's using his freeze breath, and he's trying to find the spark. Every fire needs a spark, even if the area is dry, right? So we find the spark, and it is somebody terrified, yelling, "Leave me alone." And they are, the army is firing at this person. They are going against it. They are trying to bring him down. And they call in air support, right? So the air support comes in, and Jonathan's like, nope. Like, I like that. He's just like, no, and butchers it in half. And he says, call off the attack. And he says, we don't take orders from you. Half this state is on fire. We need to take that monster down. Not ever stopping to realize that it might not be a monster, right? It may be just a person scared. And Jonathan says, I can see his fear. I can see it. He's saying, don't come any closer. I'm going to hurt you. He's saying, no, you can't hurt me. I'm Superman. Come on now. Let's be real here. And he says, I don't know how I got here. I don't know what's happening to me. And he, checks him out. His pulse is racing. He can feel his temperature increasing along while his heartbeat increases, right? So he says, the heat is connected to your stress level. All of this all around military, yeah, I would say that's pretty stressful. So he does this amazing thing, and I love it. He says, just breathe. He kind of does breathing exercise, lets himself be caught on fire just to calm this man down. And he's saying, I've got you. I've got you. And he does a great job of calming him down. So he says, look, to the army, this man, there's nothing wrong with him, but his power is somehow triggered by his stress level or his anxiety. And the guy says, we'll take care of him. Thank you. Meanwhile, can you take care of the forest fire that's going around? You're going to be able to put it out a lot faster than I am. And he says, you'll be okay in their hands. And he says, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. He says, we know. And I actually didn't expect this. So, I thought when he said, we know, it'll be okay. No. He hits him right in the head and knocks him out. And Jonathan comes right back, right? And he's like, why did you do that? He's like, I'm not risking my people having him conscious. And if that was the case, I think there's a lot better ways to handle it. If you're going to put someone unconscious, at least say, hey, you were a little worried. Take into consideration all the other people around. Would it be okay if I gave you some Ativan or something like that? The way he did it was completely disgusting. So he says, turn him over. And he says, do you really want to go against your government? And he saved him. But he goes over to, Courtlow Maltese, which is where we see Robin at right now, right? If you've been following Robin, he's doing the whole Lazarus Pit, tournament, I guess you would say, with the soul sister. I can't remember her name. I haven't read Robin this week yet either. So, he says, he doesn't know what to do. Am I worrying about nothing? And Robin's like, hell no, that's something. That guy that you're so worried about, he could be in the middle of an autopsy. They could be experimenting on him. Anything could be happening to him right now. You have no idea. Yeah, you're worrying about something. So in, League of Shadows fashion, there is a bunch of ninjas around that want to kill Robin. So they take them out, right? I love seeing them work together again. And he's like, this hardly seems like a fight. And he's like, a fair fight? You tried to ambush and assassinate my best friend. Yeah, I think ninjas are supposed to be quiet. I would be quiet if I were you. And it obviously doesn't work. So this is where I think it may get mildly controversial. But I think it is worth exploring. Like I said, that side of Lois Lane that always been really dedicated to truth and justice. He says, there's a underground stream called The Truth, and they don't really go anymore over that. And I'm wondering if maybe when I check out Robin, it'll have something to do with that. But I don't know exactly what that's alluding to yet. So he says, I have to go, but you're the son of Lois Lane. She dedicated her life to exposing corruption and injustice. And you, of course, feel like you should do more, right? And he says, there are people in this world that can get a little bit nervous. You overstepping make people a little bit nervous. But what do you stand for? What do you stand for, Jonathan? He says, truth, justice, and a better world. He just wants to help, right? So I actually missed it where I wanted to read up here. He said, it's easy to punch a ninja, right? It's easy to take these guys out. It's a little harder to punch climate crisis, inequality, and the erosion of the free press and the rise of demagogues. And he's right. You can't punch the ozone layer. You can't punch, I don't know, people not getting the same pay rate as we're seeing at Blizzard with the women over there. You can't punch the terrible journalist, the absolute corrupt journalist that we've seen time and time again, whether it's CNN or something like Variety or something like New York Post. You can't just go up and punch him and be like, be a better journalist. You can't. And the rise of the demagogues. And I am assuming that maybe a little bit of a Trump jab. I don't know. Maybe because, demagogues typically fear or prey on people that fear, other races or have some sort of issue, and they prey on that instead of running on a real platform, right? So I don't know. I don't find it controversial at all. I actually love the idea of exploring this. I think it's going to be awesome to explore something with the mixture of Lois Lane and Superman, Clark Kent. And he said, it's time for Superman to stop fighting the symptoms. You're powerful enough to be the cure. I absolutely love that. And this is beautiful. I think it's great. My biggest issue with it is this design. It drives me crazy. There's like an extra little piece right there. I'm going to quit complaining about the design. So overall, the art was beautiful. Really great for this story. I honestly think that they should, if they're introducing this to a, trying to get a younger audience, they should have brought over Gleb Mekhanov. He does great work, and it's very manga-esque. If you've ever read Robin, it looks beautiful, or Ginny Hack, some of those older stories. But his style, him and Jorge Jimenez, very manga-esque. But even so, this art is beautiful. The story was even better. I love the idea of seeing, the happy couple and the birth of him. And now we're going to explore something. Maybe we won't just be punching aliens. Maybe we'll be dealing with corrupt politicians. Something typically Superman doesn't do. The only problem I see with that is it has to be done with finesse. And we've seen it done before. Look at stuff like Civil War. We've seen it done in a good way. It just got to be really careful. You got to be very nuanced. And I don't know how well Tom Taylor does nuance yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But anyways, let me know, of course, what you guys think about this. I really enjoyed it. I'm really excited for a new Superman to see if, just maybe at this point, we're going to get a little bit of a different story. And that would be really cool to actually see. So let me know what you guys think. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.